the most wonderful time of the year. That's right, it's Oryxmas, or as most people call it, Christmas, among other holidays. Anyway, today I want to take a look at the Oryxmas Nexus up here in the corner. This is one of the most detailed nexuses in the entire game. It's filled with secrets and also just nice little details. These nexuses don't get a lot of appreciation since they've been around basically forever. This one was added in 2017, I believe. Everyone, of course, has seen the main area. This is the area that you kind of have to see if you want to play the game, since the realms are up here. And even the bazaars are to the left and right. But up here, though, we've got a whole village. This isn't in any of the other nexuses, so don't ask where these houses came from or who lives in them. In the middle, you'll find an ice rink with a tree in the middle. It's not the most exciting of villages, but Waldo is here, though. You can find Waldo right here. This is the only Waldo in the nexus. Just above the village, we have a candy village. This one is a little bit different. Every individual house has its own yard. There's also a candy hermit god in the middle with pink water. Oh, I'm in it. That's not good. This is like melted ice cream, I would imagine. That is gross. Up in the top right, this is the least interesting part of the nexus. There's just a wild area with a frozen lake. There's a little island in the middle. At the middle of this path is a small cabin with an axe and a log. There's a dock over here with a bunch of different colored boats. And now moving on to the more interesting stuff, we've got an oryx and a knight in the snow. That's a fun detail. There's also some animal tracks. There's a lot of animal tracks in the wild area up in the top right. The bunnies are also here. I thought they were only in the spring nexus, but you can find them here in the Oryxmas Nexus as well. They were even in the Halloween Nexus, which I didn't bother to talk about because it's kind of boring, except for one feature, which I might discuss eventually. Up in the top left, we have perhaps the most exciting of the Nexus arrangements. We've got some ice sculptures of the Stone Guardians. Up here, we've got a whole garden of ice sculptures. There's a drake, there's a Mixcoatl the mascot, a candy gnome, an Urgle, a phylactery bearer, a desire troll, the old Nico the Defiler sprite, the old Medusa sprite, the old Archdemon Malphus sprite, the old Abyss Idol sprite, the old Best sprite, the current Best sprite, that hasn't been updated, the old Forgotten King, and Oryx the Mad God. Then if you go along this outside, you'll find up here, there's the Grand Sphinx, and down at the bottom, you'll find Thessal the Mermaid Goddess. This was made in 2017, like I said, so there weren't a lot of bosses to work with. That's why you have some weird enemies like the Phylactery Bear and the Candy Gnome and a Drake. There's got to be some kind of history behind the Drake. There's no way they just put that over. I mean, there were some dungeon bosses at the time. We could have done the Puppet Master or something, I'd imagine. But with all the non-functional stuff out of the way, we're already right here, so we might as well look at this. This is a functional racetrack. It comes with a race expert who will tell you start and use characters of the same value. If you go ahead and type start, you'll get a little timer on this tree right here. Red, orange, go! All right. Let's see how fast I can complete this on my summoner with medium speed stats. Oh, I hit a wall. This is all made of ice. There are some obstacles in the way as well. It's not a very deep racetrack, but if you have friends, you can race on this racetrack, and isn't that fun? But since it's just me here right now, I can race by myself, try to get a good time. Perhaps even the best time, because I don't think anyone's actually run this in years. And there we go, that's all complete. So that's the racetrack. That's one of the functional features of this map. It's probably very fun if you have friends. But one final feature of the Oryxmas Nexus, and perhaps the most interesting and also biggest, we've got Craig here. He has some dialogue, but that's not important. What is important is that you can build snowmen in this Nexus. Looks like someone already started one. I'll try to build my own. You can push these snowballs around. There are five possible positions to build a snowman. We'll just take the second spot right here. You're gonna need a big ball, and then a little ball. This was added after the Parasite Chambers, so it uses the same mechanics that the Parasite Chambers had, since that was fancy new tech at the time. Look at that, we've got a snowman, but it looks pretty bad by itself, so we'll need to decorate it. Craig is saying the same dialogue as before. The Guardian of the Crucible is there. That thing never shuts up. It also broadcasts to the entire Nexus, unlike all the other NPCs. So where are we going to find snowman parts? Well, for one, there's a piece of coal right here. We can take this. And that says 2 of 8. That's right, there are 8 total snowman accessories. You only need 5 unique ones to build a snowman. You need a branch, you need a coal, you need a carrot, you need a hat, and you need a scarf. So I'll go looking for those. We already have the coal. There's only one type of branch and there's only one type of coal that you can use on the Nexus Snowman. And these breakable objects that give you the accessories are only once per reset. So since this server's been up for pretty much the entire day, it resets in just an hour, I believe. Most of the snowman accessories have been taken away, but I think there's enough sitting around that I can complete at least one snowman. Of course, now that I say that, I'm struggling to find a branch. Actually, that right there is the thing I have to kill for the branch. So I'll go over there and try to get to that inside the candy village. Gotta walk around these houses, break this. And just like that, I have a tree branch. Well, since I'm already in the candy village, maybe I can find a scarf here. Unfortunately, it looks like most of the scarves are taken. I do know a lot of the different locations for the items, but like I said, the server's been up for a while. Someone already went through and got most of the snowman accessories. This feature, as far as I know, isn't super well known. It used to be more well known in the past. This right here actually is a carrot. I'll pick this up. But back when this was first added, it was very hard to get the accessories because people would grab them as soon as the server resetted. Lots of people were trying to get the accessories and complete a snowman, or just complete a set of accessories. I did that last year when nobody cared or knew that these existed even. Okay, it looks like all of the readily accessible locations for accessories have been taken. There are a couple extra locations that you can only reach with a trickster. For example, right up here, back in the Candy Village again, if I go to the top right area, that right there is one of the snowman accessories, but I can't access that without a trickster, so I'm gonna have to come back on a trickster to get that. As for a hat, I wanted to get a lovely top hat, but instead I'm gonna have to settle for this one right here, which is just a typical Santa hat. So now we return to my snowman over here, right about here. Here we are. I can use each of my snowman accessories one by one. You have to use the twig first, then the coal, then a carrot, one of 2 carrots, then one of 2 hats, and then finally one of 2 scarves. But to get the scarf, I'm going to have to switch to a trickster. This trickster I've been using for storage, but I should also just be able to use it to get to the scarf that I saw earlier. And there it is. A red striped scarf. Let's take this back down to our snowman. Down at the bottom of the map. It's quite a long walk, actually. Or teleport, I suppose. Anyways. And that right there is our completed snowman. There's a few different arm positions that they can have, depending on which combination of snowman accessories you use. But that's what our snowman looks like when it's finished. Since there are 2 different scarves and 2 different hats and 2 different noses, there's a good amount of combinations you can do for each of the snowman. And per server, there are 5 potential snowmen you can build. I think since someone combed through and grabbed a lot of the accessories, I won't be able to finish all the snowmen. I could push the snowballs together though. This takes a little bit of precision, because if you run it into a tree, it will break. And that's no good. Like that, exactly like that. Although I don't want to show you the 8 snowman accessory locations so you can find them for yourself, these are the 8 snowman accessories here. There's 2 different types of carrots. One curves up, one of them just goes down. Then we have a top hat and a Santa hat, a green scarf, and a red scarf. Those are all the potential snowman accessories. These snowman accessories here are from Jack Frost. It's a realm encounter. It isn't spawning just yet this Oryxmas, but in just a few days you'll be able to clear snowmen in the Godlands and be able to get all of these different carrots, all of these different coals, and all of these different hats. These are used to activate the Jack Frost boss. You also use the snowman body to do that. That one works more or less the same, but it's a little more stable. As long as there's a body up, you can use the hat, eyes, and nose in any order. And the difficulty of the Jack Frost will be determined by which hat, coal, and nose you use. These are the easiest ones, these are the most difficult ones. If you'll notice, these are actually each based on a different dungeon. But that's not part of the Oryxmas Nexus, it's just kind of similar and related, so it's worth mentioning. I don't have 8 Oreos, ignore that. There are quite a lot of places you can find the snowman accessories. I've passed by several of them while just wandering around. I deliberately ignored them though. If you have a keen eye, you might have noticed them and can point them out or something. So that's a bit of a shorter video for today. I just thought all this Oryxmas Nexus stuff was interesting. I hope you enjoyed this journey through the Oryxmas Nexus as well, even though it was a little bit small.